Good afternoon, and I am back, and I'm Nicole, your psychic trainer. I'm back again with more more positive impact for mind and body. I'll figure that out one day. I've been doing this almost 2 years now. Anyway, we're following up on Kindness Week, and I have with me one of my very, very good friends, Julie Spaniolo, who's also my new creative director and co-conspirator for MindBodyMastery.org, my website. Julie, why don't you say hello?
Hello, Nicole.
Hola. I'm so happy to have you on. Are you excited?
Thank you. Yes, I'm kind of feeling shy, but nope, no, I'm fine.
No, this is great. You're able to kind of step outside of your comfort zone for a second. And I so much appreciate it because honestly, I was sitting around thinking, this is World Kindness Week. Who has demonstrated the most kindness that I have ever known in my life? Personally, you hear a lot of stories about, celebrities and Gandhi, all the kindness that they have brought to the world. But I was like, we don't celebrate everyday people very often. So I wanted to celebrate Julie. This is kind of like, I don't know, when people say in different circumstances, what would Jesus do? I often think like, what would Julie do here?
Oh, you are too sweet. Thank you.
So, and it's true though. Anyone who knows you know that that's the truth. If you really want to be kind to someone, if you want to be full of grace and have a sense of compassion and empathy, what would Julie do? You ask yourself, what would Julie do here?
Funny.
But Julie and I actually, we've known each other for I don't know, even longer than our spirit group. We've been in a spirit group. What did we say? We've been doing this for so.
Well, let's see. I know we met when our kids were in pre-K. So they
Right.
must have been 3. So I think
20 years.
almost 20 years we've known each other. Wow.
Almost 20 years. And we started a spirit group about 10 years ago, right? Was that 10?
Oh, at least, and it might be longer.
Might be longer.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, give some point of reference here, we just found 2 other people like ourselves who were really desperately looking for a way to, I want to say, investigate or explore our relationship with God specifically, right?
Right. I think, we called it a prayer group in the beginning.
Right, right. It was kind of
So,
like a prayer group.
yeah, just to dedicate time to learn more about God and pray together and share our weekly, the things that happen during the week.
Right.
And I think we wanted to go outside of just the mainstream religion. We were all searching for, you know, we had questions and wanted to know more and go deeper. So
Right.
that's how
So
it
then
began.
we started with did we start? I'm trying to remember now. Did we start with a search for God?
I think we tried to start with the Course in Miracles,
Oh,
and
right.
it's difficult. That's a difficult book.
Yeah, I for some reason I have a hard time with A Course in Miracles. I don't know
The
why.
language is hard, and I mean, I'm just this is my second time doing a Course in Miracles. I've done it this year, so it's an amazing course. But we then I'm trying to remember back. I think we eventually we started studying the Edgar Casey material, and Dorothy knew of A Search for God, which is a dedicated weekly study.
Right. Yeah, we studied that twice. We went through the whole book,
2 books, and we
2
did it for
books.
years. I
Yeah.
think it took 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was a slow, progressive who wrote that book? It was Goddard, wasn't it? No, it wasn't, was it?
No, it was a group of, I think, 11 people that were within the Edgar Casey
Original
community.
community. Yeah, I
And
agree.
they started their own prayer group, and they came up with this um, these two books.
Right. So we literally we would read through a chapter, and then we would go back and try to experience the meaning of that chapter in our daily lives and our daily experiences, which was really an interesting concept when you think about it, because traditional religion, you kind of get that information when you go to church, but it's not necessarily enacted in your daily life as a conscious effort to. And there were all different kinds of concepts, but one of the ones that I thought was really crucial and helpful was cooperation. That whole concept of cooperation,
Mm-hmm.
and that that was so vital to our universal understanding of Christ consciousness on the earth, and to this day, I look for people who do want to cooperate, with my bigger vision, because without that cooperation, you don't have, like God said and Jesus said, gather in groups of two or more, and I will be there, and that alone, agreeing to gather, was such a powerful, we started to notice, right, in our own group, like
We did.
interesting,
Yeah.
powerful things were happening.
Our
And it
our
was just,
space was very energized. I mean, we all
yes,
felt it when we were together, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
I mean, the great thing about that, the search for God, was that, I mean, the first chapter of the first book was on meditation. That
right,
was like the foundation to have a practice of meditating every day,
right,
which I
right.
think. And then we were, by meeting every week, we were, kind of accountable. Like, how did you do? I mean, we're not perfect, but we tried to get in a habit of meditating.
But but that was what was so nice about our group, was that no one expected anyone to come out with perfect results. No one expected to come out with, like, this amazing practice off the top of our heads. We'd
Hmm.
all experienced some form of meditation throughout the years, but this was like a structured, conscious effort, like I said, to really clarify what we were thinking, what we were believing and experiencing in our daily lives. And that's the other key to this, is conscious awareness. I think a lot of people just kind of like scroll through their daily lives and activities on rote. They're just kind of like doing the thing because it's the next thing to do. But when you stop and you analyze, what is pushing your buttons, and how you can improve it or make it better.
Right.
um,
I feel
that
like we understood, or we came to the understanding that our intention, if we could make that intention at the beginning of the day,
Yep.
for how we wanted to be in the world, if we wanted to be more kind. And remember, I one of the things that sticks in my head about that practice was, we would have little, we would choose a something to practice that week. And the one that I remember a lot is that our practice was to smile at someone every day.
And that in and of itself is an act of kindness, that
Absolutely.
you're sharing this happiness, this joyful mood, this
Hmm.
recognition of, I have power in this moment to make it a better moment. That was so cool. Um,
Right. It was. Doesn't, it's not hard. These are
no,
just, you know, intentional, being intentional in your day.
yeah. And being kind in general shouldn't be a huge chore. And if it is, it's probably not going to come from the right place. So you might not want to engage anyway, if that's the case. But what I also noticed was that during the course of our experiences, we were all going through something powerful and different at different times. I know, we were trying to, at certain points, we were trying to survive an embezzlement. We were moving there, and then you went through something, and you were moving, and everyone had, real life events going on. We weren't just sitting on top of a mountain saying, "Oh, let's drink our tea and meditate together." These were helpful lessons in the moment, and it really helped me anyway to feel God's presence right here, right now. And that was really different than my Catholic upbringing. I
I
didn't
That's so true. It really did help us in our weekly life, in our lives every day.
every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when we talk about kindness, I think a lot of those meetings helped us refocus our attention on kindness, and
Hmm.
refocus our attention on what was important. It was during that time that we were meeting. I'll never forget. It seemed like every single Christmas, I was behind the car in front of me that bought coffee for the car behind them. So, like 3 times in a row,
Right.
I pull up to Starbucks, and like put in my order, and then, here's my card to pay. Oh no, the guy in front of you just took care of you. I was like, oh, like
I
that
know.
just changes your day. It just
It
alters
does.
everything. So, but it's funny because every time I go to do that for someone behind me, I get distracted, like, oh, my son needs to get picked up, or I got a phone call from someone else or something. So I always forget. But we've been in that position several times where someone has paid for the toll that we're going through, or now they don't do that anymore because everything's electronic. But while we were doing this group, it happened a lot. A lot of really wonderful things that happened while we were focused on that,
Hmm. I
focus.
remember being at the grocery store you know, out east there, and being in the grocery store, walking down the aisle with a friend, and somebody passed us and said, just commented because we were smiling. We were smiling and just noticed, and it made made that person happier. Like,
Yeah,
oh, nice to see such friendly, happy faces.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah,
That wasn't with me, was it?
no,
Okay, good. I'm like, wow, I've lost
I
that
don't
memory.
remember
It's
that.
gone. There's nothing there. Okay, it wasn't there to begin with. Okay, good. Um, yeah, I mean that was like one of the things that really started to get activated in my own mind, that small things that, have no impact on my day. It's not going to make it or break it either way, but it's definitely going to make a difference in someone else's life right now. So, yeah, I totally agree. That was
Well, and just, I'm sorry, just going back to the smiling thing. There's one of the, is it that's not the Buddha, but um, somebody I read, I'm sorry, I don't have the name coming out of my head, but the practice is to smile, because when you smile to your heart, to your own heart, you also are changing yourself.
Well, and I'll say, just be careful holding your camera. Sometimes it wobbles around and it can get a little dizzying. So
Oh,
just be careful.
sorry, yeah.
But smile. There's a book called, and I'm just going to double check now. Smiling Down the Natives. It by Montauk Chia. I think it talks all about that. Inner Smile and Healing Sounds by Montauk Chia. But he talks a lot about the inner smile. Um, I forget he does a lot of inner smile work. So if any of you are interested in that inner smile book, you might want to check that out, because I do remember that book was like from the 80s. Smiling Down the Natives. through your heart, through your intestines, through your hips, through your, you know,
Kindness to
that one
yourself.
too. Yep.
Hmm.
But so Julie, just to let you know, Julie has this habit of doing really nice things
Aw,
for
like
everyone.
you?
Well, I haven't received it yet, but I understand that Julie bought me an Archangel Metatron Oracle.
It's actually really in the mail now.
Really?
Yes,
I'm like, months go by. I'm like,
I know. Where is that?
should I tell her? Should I tell her I haven't received it yet?
Hopefully
But
that's
that's
I brought it I mailed it on Monday. So,
oh good. Oh
yeah.
yay.
Yeah.
I have in the past, and I didn't do it this year because I was moving and it was chaotic. We were in a temporary home in the month of, from July to August to September 2nd. I normally on my birthday like to get you guys gifts, and I think that's probably one of the best ways to give myself a gift is by giving you guys something that I know you would enjoy and like. And I think the year before last, my birthday's in July. The year before last, it was like Oracle cards, so that was really fun to explore together as well. Um, but I also think, like, just offer to help someone across the street. I know very often, like, this woman was behind me in the grocery store and she had a wheelchair, with a basket in front. And she was right behind me, and she was having a hard time talking on the phone and trying to get so I offered, I said, "Do you want me to put your groceries up here?" And she's like, "Oh, no, no." And then I said, "Well, let me just get the ones in the front that you can't reach," just, and I know, she was like on the phone and everything, but I'm sure like on some level it made her life a little easier, made me happy to know that she wasn't struggling. So, that has always gone a long way. I think writing thank you notes
Yes.
and acknowledging people who have been very kind to you in the past
Yes.
has a huge impact.
Can I mention something about that? I have
Absolutely.
I've saved a note from high school from a teacher who wrote the kindest thing to me. He didn't really know me. It was a teacher and I was helping him out, and the last sentence was, "And I hope my daughter grows up to be like you."
Oh,
And I saved that. I still have that note.
that's beautiful.
That kindness, you know, I
Yeah.
stuck in a nice little box.
When I was one of my first jobs was being a waitress at Pizza Hut, believe it or not. And I was just training. I was just getting used to it. I wasn't really knowledgeable. I didn't really have that much experience. So I was really struggling one night. I think I had like the most I'd ever had in tables, like 7 or 8 tables. And I was really struggling to keep up with each one of the orders and the tables and their order in the order that they arrived. And the evening started slowing down, and there was still a table with like 3 children there, and the parents were there. And I was just trying to keep the kids happy. I was bringing them crayons and stuff to drink, and just, it just hold on 1 second more, your pizza's going to be ready. And at the end of the whole thing, the mom wrote me a really nice letter saying, it can't be easy to be in your position. I just want to thank you so much for being so kind to my children while we were here. I know we were one of the last tables. I didn't expect spectacular service, but you were spectacular. It's just a really sweet note. And I used to save all those notes from like the times that I was, serving tables and things like that. As I got older, I guess I offloaded them or something or threw them out. But
Right.
yeah, definitely save. I love, on my website, I love all the reviews. I hold on to all of those pieces of paper that people wrote really kind, really beautiful things about, my service, the services that I provided them, either personal training or Reiki or readings. They're all over my website. Thank God that, I saved all
Yeah.
that stuff for
I
my
mean,
website.
in general, I think people are kind. People are kind. It happens everywhere all the time.
But what's interesting is like you'll watch television and you'll see some of these talk shows and they're really focused on the anger, the negativity, the sadness, the depression, the frustration. And I almost feel like, you know, they're only representing maybe 1% of the, or maybe it is 10% of the population. I don't know. But I do feel like the majority of the people that we come in contact with, if we're vibrating at that kindness level, at that appreciation, the positivity, just like positive impact, we're going to draw that back into our lives. We're going to attract that. I've seen it over and over and over again. My own son, who has, been very angry at times, very aggressive, and he keeps attracting negative and aggressive things. And it's just the opposite, like we'll walk into the same mall and people will pass me and smile, and people will bump into him and mumble something and some expletive, It's just like,
That's a huge teaching. If you can teach your children to notice that,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the law of attraction. That's,
yeah.
what you put out comes back to you for sure.
And it does take practice. I will say, if you are traditionally kind of like a sad person, or have a lot of anxiety, it takes time and practice to experience what it is to feel that flow of kindness, love, and energy. Granted, we all have bad days. We can all be on, uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
a bad stint there, just kind of moody and angry or whatever. But it's the majority of the time, and this is something we were just talking about in my emotion oracle. It's like the majority of the time, how do you feel? Do you
Mhm.
feel, you are serving your purpose? Do you feel connected to your purpose? Do you feel connected to your soul? Are you communicating well? Do you have good relationships? Do you feel good about your work? The majority of the time, if you're feeling those good feelings all the time, then it's pretty easy to start attracting, goodness in your life. So I don't think that's so unreachable, let's say,
Right.
you know. But one of the other things I have also found, and I don't know, probably Julie, you found this as well, that when someone's not feeling great, I find what I love about them, or what I find is a true talent that they have, and I express to them how great that is, like verbally, like, you don't know, you
You are so good at that, Nicole.
are amazing, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And that really helps people turn around. It makes me feel good, and expression of a little bit of kindness. Maybe that person, I don't know, got mud splattered on them that morning, or they, missed their bus, or they, didn't have, they weren't prepared for a test or their job or whatever. Who knows what went on in their lives earlier that day, but maybe I can make this moment
Mhm.
a little bit better.
Because, and that kindness breaks maybe a downward spiral that, a bad day can do. You
Right.
start getting trapped in that, oh no, it's really a bad day.
And our brains are so addictive that it's very tempting to go down that rabbit hole and be negative from morning, noon, and night. Just keep buying into all the negative stuff that's happening around you and say, "Oh, yeah, see, there you go. It's evidence, more evidence of the same, BS." But
Choose.
you can addict yourself to the good stuff too. So when I focus on that, and I try to deliberately addict myself to the good thing, I usually never go wrong. It's usually always on point, and I'm
Yeah,
always,
can't go wrong then.
yeah, you can't go wrong.
No.
So I mean, that and hugging people randomly.
Oh yeah, you were so good at that.
I I gave a talk at Woodmont Church in Connecticut a couple of weeks ago, and everyone had masks on. Everyone was, covered up, and we were 6 feet apart. They were 6 feet apart from each other in the audience. And at the end of it, I guess they were so, appreciative, because I didn't charge a lot. I didn't, I
Mhm.
speak a lot of places, but I don't charge a lot. And so I guess they were so appreciative for the information, because everyone got a mini reading, throughout the entire talk. Uh, and I guess they were pretty impressed. So at the end of it, um, this woman, and she had a cane, and she came up to me, had a mask, she was all bundled up, and she's like, "Can I get a hug?" And I'm like,
Oh,
yes, you can get a hug.
yeah.
I really believe in my ability. I'm a huge lover and a believer of my body knowing the right thing at the right time. And I am fully in belief of my own immune support system. So I gave her a big hug and I said, thank you, because that means the world to me, that you felt so moved by what I spoke about that you wanted to hug me. That's just huge. Thank you so much. And she was like, oh, no, you gave me a gift. You gave me such a beautiful, because she was talking about her father and that she always has this repetitive vision of her father and a meditation of him holding this loon, trying to protect this loon from the motors, the engine on their boat. And I forget exactly what I said, but I told her that, that is your father. If he's showing up as the loon, that is your father. And she's like, you gave me such an incredible gift. I mean,
Oh,
people were crying, people are
yeah.
hugging, we're laughing.
Well, these talks and meditations you do are amazing.
Thank
So they touch everybody that's there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hmm.
I really, that's my prayer. That's my intention. And that's been my life purpose, is to positively impact and to give, whatever support I can give each human soul I come in contact with. That's the whole thing right there. And so I'm happy to do that, and I'm even happier now. Like you said, I'm happy that I created the weight loss meditations, and they're up on my website, and the emotion oracle, because I do believe when you spread kindness and happiness, you are actually spreading that love, that joy, that happiness, that's going to keep you happy and healthy and at the perfect weight for the rest of your life. It's only when we allow ourselves to, like I said, go down that rabbit hole of negativity, depression, anxiety, and anger, that we start to, our bodies, ourselves will start to act out and do things like gain weight. So that's another piece of this puzzle. It sounds, I actually wrote about this in the oracle, the emotion oracle on my website, and someone asked me, a producer asked me, she's like, of all the things an archangel could advise you on, why weight loss? I'm like, look at me. I've been a personal trainer for 7 years. I was a Group X instructor for 20 years prior to that. I'm a Reiki healer. Why wouldn't I ask about the number one killer or predictor of heart disease today? Obesity and overweight. And she's like, oh, that makes sense. It sounds so superficial, but it really is a huge issue. And, I'm sure if I said to the angels, can you advise me on this or that? And they have in healings. They have also advised me on other things.
Hmm.
So, things like cancer and irritable bowel syndrome and lower back pain and knee issues. They've always advised me very, very carefully throughout each healing and each time I've worked with anyone. So why would they stop at weight loss? It's
Right.
not superficial. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you spent your life becoming a master at all that. Plus
Thank you.
the added, the added medical, intuitive, psychic abilities. It's like an amazing combination.
Thank you. Oh, see,
Yeah.
she's been so kind to me right now.
It's just truth.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I feel the same way about you though. I think you have certain spiritual gifts that we have yet to discover, Julie. You're just, you're on the
Yeah.
precipice here. Anyone who talks to Julie always feels better afterwards. That is a known fact.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel so fortunate to have you in my group, in the spiritual group, but also as a very good friend, and now a business advisor
I
and
know,
creative
it's
director
exciting.
of MindBody Mastery. I'm so excited.
Who knows what the future will hold?
I really do want to highlight your talents in some way. I hope in the future we can do that so that everyone can experience your kindness.
Oh, Nicole, thank you. That's so sweet. Yeah, I don't know what the future holds. None of us do, but
No.
it will be good.
It's going to be awesome, Julie.
It
It's going to
is.
be awesome.
Yes.
At that rate, I'm going to wrap it up here so that everyone, I've just been posting a lot of books, and unfortunately it's posting 3 times per comment. So just realize that it's 3 books I'm basically recommending. Julie and I are familiar with Inner Smile by Montauk Chia, A Search for God. These are a compilation of Edgar Casey's readings. He's the sleeping, what are they, medium? No, they called him the sleeping. There you go. Book 1 and book 2.
The sleeping prophet.
The sleeping prophet. That's right. That's what they call him.
Yeah.
And A Course in Miracles. If you have a difficult time reading A Course in Miracles, I think you'll really enjoy A Search for God, because that was easier to understand and kind of sink your mind into, and also in a daily practice. But there are dozens of books out there, and we have begun to peruse other books as a spiritual group. So I will keep you posted if you're interested in that information. We're always kind of like working towards, what's next. Although all of us right now are in a state of flux. So we're just pulling angel cards Saturday morning in our spiritual group. But Sundays, on alternate Sundays, I am doing a Christ-light meditation at 11:11 a.m. Eastern time. So if you're interested in meditating with us, let me know, either through Positive Impact or my website on mindbodymastery.org. And I'm also MindBody Mastery on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So you can always message me at Nicole's MBM on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Although Facebook is now what, Meta? Did they change that yet?
They did. I've seen it on the bottom of my Instagram.
Okay. So it's Meta now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to say what you did today that was kind for someone else in anticipation of World Kindness Day on Saturday, let me know that too. I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to talk about it. Thank you so much, Julie, for coming. And
Nicole, thank you.
You're a blessing.
You are too.
All right, love.
Bye.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.